Hey, I'm Randy and I'm the Cheap Audio Man. Here at the Cheap Audio Man, we don't feel like hi-fi equipment. Speakers, DACs, amps, turntables, receivers should cost more than a panel van that you could outfit to start your own dog grooming business or cat grooming. I don't know, is that a thing? Cat grooming? I don't think they'd like that. And this doesn't. What is it? It is the Xduoo MT-604 balanced headphone amplifier, tube amplifier balanced. So sit down, grab a beverage if it's late at night, and let's talk about the Xduoo MT-604. Today's sponsor is Quarter Pounder with Cheese. It's delicious. Quarter Pounder with cheese. They're delicious. So, I hope you like my shirt. My son's girlfriend saw it and gave it to me. And I feel like it's like something that Steve Guttenberg would wear. And that's why I wore it today, because I want to be like Steve Guttenberg. So much so that I commissioned a small, I almost said trophy. I commissioned a small trophy of Steve Guttenberg. No, I commissioned a small statue bust made out of plastic for Steve Guttenberg, and then had my good folks, fans, help me out and make it. And that's not weird, is it? All right, so the MT-604 is $169. Yeah, it's got four 6J1 tubes on top. Yep. That's 6J1. On the back, it's balanced out, okay? I went the tube. And then power, and then a little switch, okay? On the front, it has a 4-pin XLR. Come on now. There we go. 4-pin XLR output, I guess. A Pentagon, 4.4 millimeter Pentagon input, and then a 4.4 Pentagon output. Not very good, Randy. And then on the front, it has two variable volume controls, one for left and one for right channel. Okay, it's a lot of fun. So this is a 4-tube buffer into a Class A output amplifier thing for headphones, but it's not just for headphones. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to gush all over this thing. There's basically nothing I don't like about this from a sonic standpoint. It's, I don't know, can be a little bit difficult with the two volume controls, but I guess that's cool because then you have that option. You don't have that option if you have one volume control. I listen to, here's the thing with this, I just listen to everything. This quickly took me out of, I am analyzing this thing. I am trying to hear differences. I was talking to one of my friends today. It's the best musical experience I've ever had. And it had this in it, okay? So I had the Denafreps Aries 2 DAC running balanced into this thing, and then I listened to the Monolith M570s. It's a headphone, obviously. And then the Emotiva GR1s. God Is Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash. Wonderful. I mean, his voice, the realism, it was the details, it was otherworldly for me. And I don't think it's just about the amp. It's about the DAC and the headphones, but I had similar experiences when I tried the M300 by SMSL. It's a balanced DAC, and when I was listening to other headphones off of it. So it's not just about the DAC. It's kind of everything. But what I will say is this headphone amplifier added a sense of spaciousness, a sense of air, a sweetness to the vocals, a smoothness. It's like detailed syrup. I knew this thing was special when I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister came on, and I started deconstructing I Wanna Rock and I started hearing every single instrument and all of the nuances and details in that song, I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister. Dee Schneider, all make-upped up and had his hair all big and feathered, crimped with an iron. It's a good song. A Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. At the beginning, there's, I don't know, somebody coughing or inhaling, and I had to just keep going back and listening to it because it was so detailed. And I've never heard it that present before than through this amp. So I'm just going to go down a list and tell you why this amp. Number one is the sense of space and air and realism. I keep getting closer and closer to this kind of in the room experience. And when I think I've heard it, then I hear something again. I'm like, this is even more realistic. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it is just a sense of being in something greater than yourself, around, like in an area. And I don't often have that experience with headphones. I have had it with speakers because obviously I'm in a room, but then when a speaker is airy, then I get even more of that vibe. But this put me into the performance, and like not like in front of it, kind of in it. It's just incredible. It's incredible. Two, the voices, sweet but detailed, but most of all, again, realistic. It was the realism and the richness of, like, I don't know, like NPR, the way that they do the voice, whatever it is. It was just everybody, every artist just seemed smooth but detailed at the same time. There Will Be Time by Mumford & Sons. It never approached sibilance. It never approached being too much. It was just, again, detailed while being smooth and sweet and wonderful. It made me just want to keep listening. This took me right out of the reviewer stage and just made me want to listen. And some people have asked me, what is my favorite thing to listen to when I'm, just relaxing or just wanting to enjoy the music? And guess what? This is it. It's the Denafreps Ares 2. It's the Xduoo MT-604. It's a balanced cable, and either the M570s or the Emotivas or whatever other headphone I'm going to run balanced through these. This is what is my happy place. This is like holding a magnifying glass up to the music. And I think it's a function of, number one, I'm wearing headphones, right? And I'm wearing detailed headphones. And so I'm hearing things that I haven't heard before, or in a way that is presented itself in a way that I haven't heard before. And then all of a sudden you add all this air in, and you add all this space in because of the tubes or the classic, whatever it is. I don't know what it is per se. I just know it's coming from the MT-604. So I don't care. I love it. So you add in that detail, and then all of a sudden you add in space, and now it's just a view into the microcosm of the music. Finally, it's because of versatility. So on the surface, this looks like a headphone amplifier, a balanced in, balanced out headphone amplifier. But there is a line out, and that's a 4.4 Pentagon line out. So guess what I got? I got a 4.4 to XLR cable. Guess what I did? I stuck this in between an amplifier and some speakers. So I ran the Denafreps Ares 2 into the MT-604, and then I ran the MT-604 into the balanced crown amplifier, also the SMSL SU9, and also the Sabage. It's a balanced Class D. All of those amps are Class D. All of those amps can sound good. I think the Sabage and the SMSL can sound very good depending upon what EQ setting you have running. But here's the thing that happens when you add this into the chain. It opens things up. It sweetens things up. It fills things out. It gives you all of a sudden this three-dimensional experience that I previously didn't have with those amplifiers. So at $170, you add this into a $250 Class D or $300 Class D, and now you're starting to hear, or I started to hear, things that rivaled very expensive amplifiers like my Anthem Integrated 225, and even surpassed them from a largeness scale of the music. And even sonically, it started to surpass the Anthem. This opens up a world of opportunities. Is it going to be the easiest plug and play solution? No, not at all. You're going to have a DAC balanced, or whatever source you have, going into the MT-604, and then a Pentagon going out to balanced out of the front, mind you, too. So it's not going to be all nicey up on your stand with your LED lights. It's going to be a rat's nest of cables. I would argue it's going to be worth it, though, because it changes the Class D sound into that of just wonderment. Tubes. Really what you're doing is you're making your Class D amplifier into a tube amplifier. I know it's not a true tube amplifier, but it sure sounds like it. Sounds like the MT-34 Mark II from Bayou Range. It's amazing. If you're at all curious and you have a balanced Class D, buy it and return it if you don't like it. Buy it for the headphone amp. You need to have a balanced source, though. And so here's another thing. The Aries Tube by Denafreps is a very open, wide-sounding, deep-sounding DAC. And then you add this onto it, and now it's even bigger, wider, deeper. So depending upon what DAC you have, like the SMSL M300 is not as wide and as deep and as airy as the Denafreps Aries 2, but it still adds that dimension to it. So you can just start adding air on top of air and space on top of space, and just start tweaking the sound of what you have. So you have a balanced Class D, look at this, and then get a cable and then just play around with it. Okay, the cable's not cheap. I think it was 30 or 40 bucks, but I'll link it in the description. When I first got this product, and Shenzhen Audio sent me this product, so thank you, Shenzhen Audio. Of course, they didn't ask me what to say, but when I first got this, I'm kind of like, what do I do with it? I get it. It's a balanced headphone amplifier. Okay, so I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have to hook up a balanced DAC, and I'm going to have to get my cable out and mess with the headphones. And then I listened to it, and all those objections went out the window. And quite frankly, all the objections for Class D amplifiers can now go out the window. Them being flat, them being antiseptic, or whatever it is. Because I've listened to a lot of Class D amps, and this changes things. At $170, first of all, just as $170 as a headphone amp is completely worth it. $170 plus $50 or whatever for the cable to change it into XLR and go into an amp, worth it. So you're $220 or whatever it is. This was the difficult part of making this video, is I don't quite know how to put it into words. I don't quite know how to explain it, because I don't feel like I'm going to capture exactly what it is I experienced. It's magical. That's the easiest way I can describe it. This is a magical musical experience, and one of which I hadn't heard before. It's phenomenal. It's simply phenomenal. $170, it's, even if you use it once a year, I'd still consider it. I would consider buying balanced headphones, balanced cable, a balanced Class D amplifier just to get this. Like it's kind of like buying a new house to get a new front door. Like, just go buy the new front door, right? Don't go buy an entire house because of a front door. But this is a pretty special product. So go buy a Class D balanced amplifier. Go buy a balanced DAC. Go do this, because even when you buy all that, let's say it's $500-600. Now the DAC, depending upon which one you get, could be expensive, but it all adds up to things that are intangible. And that intangibility for me was the most magical musical experience I've ever had. And I had that earlier today through that thing. So, world of possibilities with the Xduoo MT-604. Fantastic. fantastic. I don't even think I told you what the power is. It's 2 watts into 32 ohms. If you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night, we have patron-only Zooms. We also have patron-only content and a Facebook group. Also, sign up for Amazon Music. There's a link in the description. Sign up. You get 3 months for free. I get a couple of bucks. And if you buy the MT-604 through my links, I will get a commission. If you buy anything that I have linked, I'll get a small commission. Okay? So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu or anything like that. Binge listen through your MT-604 and have a magical musical experience and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.